I think what 49ers content creators have been saying ever since the Super Bowl is completely wrong. Like, here's Guy Haberman. I love Guy Haberman, but he's like, oh, what is it going to take for the 49ers to overcome the Chiefs? What is it going to take? Larry Krueger, love Larry Krueger, but Larry Krueger's like, the Chiefs are only going to get better if the 49ers can't beat them now. When are they ever going to beat them? To me, this is completely wrong. Let me ask you this. What did the Peyton Manning Denver Broncos do to win the Super Bowl? After getting blown out by the Seattle Seahawks 40-8, how did the Denver Broncos come back and win the Super Bowl? They won the Super Bowl by getting worse. Peyton Manning got worse. They benched him for Brock Osweiler. That's how badly Peyton Manning was playing. So Peyton Manning got a lot worse. The offense got a lot worse. Their point differential went down, right? Their margin of victory went down, and they won fewer games. And that's what the Denver Broncos did to finally win the Super Bowl. They got worse. That's what they did. How did the New York Giants win their last Super Bowl? The New York Giants won their last Super Bowl by being terrible. Just terrible. They were 9-7 in a weak division. They allowed more points than they scored. They had a negative point differential. They allowed more points than they scored. And that is how the New York Giants won their last Super Bowl, by being absolutely terrible. How did the Philadelphia Eagles win their last Super Bowl? Their only Super Bowl. How did the Philadelphia Eagles finally get over the hump after 100 years, or however long we've been playing football? How did the Philadelphia Eagles finally win their Super Bowl? They won their Super Bowl by having their franchise quarterback injured. That is how they won their Super Bowl. Okay, so 49ers content creators are being totally wrong-headed about this. It's not about being better than you were the last time you were in the Super Bowl. That's not how it works. That's not how winning Super Bowls work. How did Steve Young finally get over the hump? How did Steve Young finally win a Super Bowl? Steve Young finally won the Super Bowl by Jerry Jones getting a huge ego and firing Jimmy Johnson and replacing him with Barry Switzer, who Troy Aikman will tell you that season under Barry Switzer was a shit show. So that is how Steve Young finally get over the hump. I see him going on TV like he's this wise sage of Super Bowl quarterbacks, like he has this hidden knowledge about how to win Super Bowls, as if he's not a major league choke artist, as if Steve Young didn't choke constantly against the Green Bay Packers, as if he didn't choke against the Cowboys 3 times in a row, 2 NFC championships, and a blowout in Dallas. As if he didn't only win the Super Bowl. Was it Carmen Policy, Richard Dent? Sure. No, it was Jerry Jones firing Jimmy Johnson. There you go. That's how you win Super Bowls. I dated a 9 one time. Me! I dated a 9 for like 2 weeks. How did I do it? Was it because I'm so charming? Was it because I'm so funny and charming? No, it was dumb frickin' luck. Let's be honest, it was dumb frickin' luck. I was broke as hell. I went with my broke-ass uncle to this country club. He was trying to get one of these rich people to invest in one of his pyramid schemes or something. I don't even know. So anyways, I was in the vicinity of wealthy people, and this gold digger lady thought I was rich and started coming on to me. I didn't even have to do anything. She was throwing like ice at me, like from her drink. I thought I was being bullied. Next thing I know, I was tearing that shit up. So the point is, you just have to be around. I had to beat the country club. The 49ers need to be in the playoffs. They need to be in the mix. And then you just hope for the best. You hope things break your way. That's how did the Chiefs finally overcome the Patriots dynasty? Remember the last time Tom Brady went into Kansas City and beat Kansas City in overtime in the AFC Championship, 37-31. So how did Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs finally overcome the Patriots dynasty? You know how they overcame the Patriots dynasty? By Bill Belichick winning so much and getting such a big ego that he didn't believe his scouts. He made all the picks. Their roster got worse. He wouldn't upgrade his offensive weapons because he thought Tom Brady was in decline. They talked about that. He wrongly thought Tom Brady was declining. That's the reason he didn't upgrade the offensive weapons, because he didn't think it was their fault. He thought it was Tom Brady's fault. And as a result, they got bounced by Tennessee the next year. And that's how the Kansas City Chiefs overcame the Patriots. That's how they did it. Okay, so that has nothing to do with being better than you were the year before or anything like that. You just got to give yourself a chance. That's all you got to do. As far as I don't know if I could find the tweet here, but Ryan Hensley and a bunch of these other cretins Like Jesse Naylor, he won't come right out and say it. He only does implications so that he can. I never said exactly. I never said that. I was just asking questions. So anyway, all these cretins were like, Kyle Shanahan just can't win the big game. He just can't win the big game. Now, obviously, statistically, that's a meaningless statement and holds no water at all whatsoever from a statistical perspective. But even like, what exactly does that sentence mean? Like, Kyle Shanahan just can't win the big one. Surely they don't mean like a curse, right? Surely they don't mean like a magical curse. That Kyle Shanahan is cursed. You need a witch doctor to throw some rocks and some leaves and set it on fire in order to lift the curse. Surely they don't mean something mystical, right? So therefore they're saying Kyle Shanahan is missing something in some way. Maybe he's not smart enough, or maybe he's not whatever enough. But I would ask you this. What is it that Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, right? Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. So what is the je ne sais quoi of Doug frickin' Peterson that he has over Kyle Shanahan? I would argue it's dumb frickin' luck. That's what I would argue. Bill Belichick didn't play Malcolm Butler. That's why Doug Peterson has a Super Bowl. It's dumb frickin' luck. How does Kubiak have a Super Bowl ring? What is the je ne sais quoi of Kubiak that Kyle Shanahan? You know what the je ne sais quoi of Kubiak was when he won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos? It was playing bird brain Cam Newton. That was the secret sauce for Kubiak, is playing the Carolina Panthers and the easy Super Bowl victory. What about George Seifert? You think George Seifert has something special over Kyle Shanahan? Or did he just have an overpowered roster for one Super Bowl and Jimmy Johnson getting fired in the other one? Call me crazy, right? But I believe the reason Doug Peterson has a Super Bowl and George Seifert has Super Bowls and Kyle Shanahan is dumb frickin' luck. That's my opinion. Call me crazy. I think it's dumb frickin' luck. That's what it is. And again, my solution is you just got to be around. Just got to be in the area. You just got to be at the country club and hope things break your way. That's honestly the solution. Just be around. Be in the playoffs. Be in that championship level area. And you hope things break your way. That's how you win Super Bowls. Here's Rob Stats Guerrera. I like Rob Stats Guerrera. But he says, Spencer Burford, Ray McLeod, tipped extra point. It's not an accident. It's not a fluke. Do you realize, like, if you're a scientist and you discover a new particle, right? You discover a new particle. In order for everybody to accept that, you have to have 5 sigma level of confidence, which means there's only a 1 in 3.5 million chance that it's not statistical noise. Okay? Now for weather forecasts, like the weather lady on TV, it's a lot less rigorous. It's something equivalent to, not exactly, but equivalent to 2 sigma level confidence. So roughly, in general, about 19 out of 20 times, Kyle Shanahan losing 3 times in a row has no statistical significance whatsoever. It means imagine going to the FDA trying to get a drug approved. Like, I got a sample size of 3 here. Like, what are you talking about? 3 losses and a fumble and a missed extra point? That's your evidence for something? That means that has no statistical significance whatsoever. It literally is an accident or a fluke. He's like, it's not an accident, it's not a fluke. That's exactly what it is. That's literally an accident and a fluke.